Oh, sorry, sir. Kasi ang
Because
context.
So, pwede ba pakisoli yung 971 million? Hindi naman pala pwede pakinabangan eh.
Sa kinokollect nila ancillary services, meron po kami sa bill namin na transmission charges. So, umabot na yun ng bilyon. Sana pupunta ang pera. Sana nakadeposito. Anong ginawa ni RC to secure, to make sure na yung pera na yan may gamit na gusto. So, gusto natin malaman magkano, how much na yun ngayon. Kasi sa bill namin, every time nagbabayad kami, kasama yung transmission charges.
Okay.
So sigurado to na nasa capex na ng alam kung saan to.
Any of the ECs would want to give a short statement, a brief statement? Yes, Attorney James Balsomo.
Good
from
morning,
Ileco.
Honorable Chair and honorable members of the House of Representatives.
Our narrative report has already been consolidated in the report of the DOE, but on the part of the ECs, may we add for the record, Honorable Chair, that the shutdown of the Panay grid for the past 1 year happened not only twice, Mr. Chair, but thrice. First, in February of 2023, the cause is undetermined. It lasted only for 8 hours, so less than a day. The power was restored.
Sorry, Attorney Balsomo, you're saying that in February there was a
And
an
total shutdown.
incident already.
Yes, the Panay subgrid shut down totally in February 2023, Mr. Chair. That was the first. The second was April 27 to 29, the second, 2023. And the third is last January 2 to 5 this year, Mr. Chair. So there were 3 massive shutdown in the Panay subgrid within a period of 1 year from today. That is to make the record straight. And second, Mr. Chair, with respect to the incident last January 2, when PDC Unit 1 trip, there was no communication whatsoever from the part of the grid operator to all the 10 electric cooperatives in Region 6. There was no demand control imminent warning that we have to reduce our demand within the minutes prescribed in the grid code. There was no instruction to implement manual load dropping, and there was no automatic load dropping by the system. And to clarify things, the grid operator, the NGCP, is providing for the under frequency relay settings in our substations, so that in case of imbalances in the supply and demand in the system, automatically the predetermined substation in our among the distribution utilities would trip automatically. But none of that happened until there was a voltage fluctuation, and then followed by total shutdown of the Panay subgrid, Mr. Chair. That is for the record. The ECs are the receiving end among the, together with the private utilities, the DUs. We are the receiving end in the power system grid. However, we are not the passive participants supposedly. In fact, we are the ones facing the consumers, and we are the ones paying for the entire cost of the operation and maintenance of the system. And we would like to bring this to the attention of the committee that for 2023 alone, the 10 electric cooperatives in Region 6 paid the amount of 971 million 421,608 and 28 centavos for ancillary services. These payments, these ancillary services are being paid by our consumers, whether utilized or unutilized. The purpose of ancillary services is to secure the integrity and security of the grid for any contingencies like this. But if the grid code has been followed, Mr. Chair, first, the grid should not have collapsed. And second, in the restoration part, given that the grid has already collapsed, the restoration process would not last for 4 days. Why? Because the ARC chair is here, Under the grid code, the contingency reserve requirement should be not less than the largest operating unit in the grid. On the part of Panay, that is 150 megawatt, the PDC Unit 3. Given the required power of 300 megawatt to stabilize the grid, upon the synchronization of PDC Unit 1 the night after the incident, and the synchronization of PDC Unit 2 the following day, the next morning, there should have been more than enough power to stabilize the grid if the NCR services had delivered as expected. So,
Mr. Chair, ano natin palampasin to? Kabalog, nasaan ba yung ancillary na yan? Yung binabayaran nila? Bakit hindi yun na-activate? Hindi nga, kahit nasa pero interconnected, di ba?
Sorry, the ancillary service is being asked. Where is the ancillary service located? In Negros Island or in Panay Island? Mr. Clark?
Hindi ba tatlo yun?
Pag kasi po sa ancillary services, yung ancillary Visayas wide, hindi po tayo per subgrid. O yes, opo.
So nagsisingil kayo para sa wala? Yun ang ibig sabihin na sinabi mo eh.
During that time po, nung mag-trip si PEDC, answering
Ito on record ha. 60 megawatts slated, Therma Visayas 2 times 26, UPSI Toledo, both in Cebu and one in Leyte. So supposed to be, they should be in service through the interconnection whenever something like this happens. Yeah. So in short, they cannot provide ancillary services.
during that time po, meron tayong
I
regulating
don't care
reserve.
about what's during that
Opo.
time.
Sorry sir. Kasi ang
Because
context,
So, pwede ba pakisoli yung 971 million? Hindi naman pala pwede pakinabangan eh.
Honorable Joey, if we can reserve it later, we already see the point. No, I understand already, but it might create a cascading of questions from the members, and I don't know how I'll be able to handle all of you guys. So let me just finish the resource persons from their presentation, and then we'll just go back to the question regarding the locations of the ancillary service. Okay. This would be the last.
Yes, Mr. Chair, because this is relevant dun sa kinokollect nila ancillary services. Meron po kami sa bill namin na transmission charges. So, umabot na yun ng bilyon. Sana pupunta ang pera. Sana nakadeposito. Anong ginawa ni RC to secure, to make sure na yung pera na yan may gamit na husto. So, gusto natin malaman magkano, how much na yun ngayon. Kasi sa bill namin, every time nagbabayad kami, kasama yung transmission charges.
Okay.
So sigurado to na nasa capex na ng, alam kung saan to.
Thank you, Honorable Baranda. So, if the GM of Ileco is finished already with his statement and presentation.
Mr. Chair, just to make things clear, sa under the grid code, may tatlo pong ancillary services supposedly. Na di ba, we have the regulating reserve, we have the contingency reserve, we have the dispatching reserve. All these are intended to ensure the integrity and security of the grid, so walang collapse na mangyayari supposedly. And in case of restoration, the power would be restored in the shortest time possible. Hindi mag-last for 4 days. Kasi kami we are facing the direct accountability sa aming consumers on behalf ng entire power industry. And Mr. Chair, we would like to bring to the attention, of course, of the committee. Sa part kasi ng electric cooperative, we are non-profit service focus. So yung revenue loss namin, we have no means of recovering the same on behalf of the consumers. No, none. And the transmission cost may add sa sinabi ni Congresswoman Barunda. Correct me later if I'm wrong. This is demand side. Ibig sabihin, kahit na mag-shutdown ka ng isang buwan, we will still be paying for this. That's the burden of our consumers. And yung sa amin lang kasi, Mr. Chair, we have conducted series of meetings with the NGCP demanding full transparency sa information, which is actually required under the grid code. that they should establish a system of communication between the operator and the user. Sa lahat ng aspect ng operation po, sa load and demand, and then sa lahat ng nangyayari. But as things now stand, ma-inform lang kami, sir, after the fact na. So walang communication na nangyayari. And after following our technical meeting last May, following the last April 2023 incident, we wanted to find out the root cause of the problem. Why is it that there is a simultaneous tripping? That is not the cause of the collapse of the grid. There is an underlying, there's a systemic problem underlying. Kasi theoretically, hindi magkaroon ng simultaneous tripping lahat ng mga generators natin. So we demanded the data from them, which is not shared, of course, publicly. But during the technical meeting, we demanded the technical data, and we of course made our own analysis and advanced our analysis on this. To be honest and frank, Mr. Chair, sabi na nga namin, yung mga engineers ninyo, they may have master's engineering, yung mga engineers din ng Madios, ganun din. So, being indispensable partners, why don't you share the information with us? For all you know, we might be able to identify the underlying problem and propose solutions. And we asked them, with respect to the increase particularly on this problem, there is the so-called oscillation as shown. Simple voltage fluctuation, ganon. Is there an instrument in the current grid infrastructure that could detect, that could manage and could damp the irregular frequency brought about and the weakening of the power system inertia in the grid brought about with the increased penetration of renewable energy sources, particularly yung solar farms natin? Because they are emerging technologies. When our grid was formulated, wala pa ito. But they are creating problems. There are a lot of studies conducted years ago in the US, in Europe, and other parts of the world. And there are recommendations on this. Sad to say, we were made to understand wala. And according to the people from NGCP, one of the smart instruments that should have been introduced sa grid to manage effectively yung voltage fluctuation, yung M-bar problems, is the static bar compensator. Among the options, there are a lot of smart instruments in the market. Among this, one of the cheapest is static bar compensator. However, according to them, this is yet to be procured in 2025. But on the part of the ISIS, Mr. Chair, power security is a matter of national security. We wanted a sense of urgency in all the parties here. Because until the root cause of the problem is resolved, it would again be a matter of time. Same statement na binitawan namin, Mr. Chair, no last April. It would be a matter of time again when the same incident would happen. So nangyari ulit. And then we wanted, of course, to determine if the report regarding the completion of the Cebu Negros Panay interconnection is really progressing as it should. So our technical team from our ECs in Negros, Noneco, conducted visual inspection, and our technical team also in Aklan by Akelco. Kung ano ba talaga ang situation ng interconnection na ito. But sad to say, we have submitted a report with NEA, and I believe it was forwarded to the DOE, on the real progress on the ground. There are portions na wala talagang structures, and there are portions na structures lang, wala pa ring wire. So there may be underlying issues on this. But this is the real situation. Based on the assessment, Mr. Chair, the project is at most 70% completed. And it is supposedly to be delivered or completed by March of this year, supposedly December. Again, it's sa March. Again, the target. But we seriously doubt, Mr. Chair, if the project would be completed in March, given the current state of the implementation, Mr. Chair. On the part of the electric cooperatives, we do not want to blame anybody here. We wanted effective solutions. We wanted to contribute to the solution, supposedly. On the last January incident, Mr. Chair, if there was instruction from the NGCP, we would really comply, as we usually do. Wala pong pasaway sa distribution utilities. lahat po ng instruction ng operator is seriously followed. At lahat po ng settings namin po sa substations namin are set with NGCP. We cannot do away with that. So kung ganito yung regulations nila, we have to comply. And lastly, Mr. Chair, on the issue na ni-raise kanina ni Governor Nabat at Governor Mira Flores, on the equitable distribution ng available power in case of situation like this. Kasi we have limited power, it was allocated sa iba't ibang DIOs. However, there is no specific guidelines on how the grid operator should do this. Without the specific guidelines on how the available power should be equitably distributed, Mr. Chair, the grid operator cannot distinguish what is equitable distribution from what is whimsical. That is when nagreklamo ibang DU, kami on the part of Eleco 3, we maintained at the 30% level for several days. Why ibang DU matataas? So we are not complaining on an unfair. No. What we are asking is that there should be equitable distribution. Meaning may mga priorities tayo, hindi naman lahat dapat equally. Katulad sinabi ni Governor Mira Flores, yung Boracay, that is a center of economic activity, should be given priority. Given. But there must be specific guidelines to govern situations like this. And we wanted that the grid code requirements, Mr. Chair, should be followed by all parties. Because following the grid code, this situation would have not lasted for 4 days, Mr. Chair. Because sa aming part, kami yung lahat ng sisi sa amin eh. But okay, that's the curse we have to face. Kami ay lahat ng reklamo sa amin. And we'll bear all the financial burden after the incident, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Attorney Balsoma. He touched on a lot of issues that I think could help our regulator and the DOE.